All right, good morning, traders. Today is September 16th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you so much for following my content, liking my content, subscribing to my content, being a part of the BYOB trading group here in Facebook. Thank you. Special shout out to John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy Sarah Roasted for sharing the content, helping to spread the good word out there to the world. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Love that. Thank you for all the kind comments. Everybody, I love that as well. Thank you for following me on my journey. Hey, let's go ahead and get started here and see what we got. All right. Okay, so my SPY pivot this morning, 660, 20. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Yesterday, SPY, GLD, T2123, FNGU, QQQ, all made new all-time highs. IWM made an inside day, closing inside a bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. Diamond Dow made a lower high and a lower low, closing above a bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a weak 2-candle 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, inside 2-hour uptrends, inside daily uptrends, inside weekly uptrends, inside monthly uptrends. I like those because you got all the bigger time frames supporting my little 10-minute uptrend. All right, that's my favorite trade setup right there. It's not going to be here 6-9 months from now. All right, so I'm just saying, like, take advantage of it if you can find those 10-minute uptrends and ride those higher. All right, silver made a new 13-year high. Of course, gold, you already know, made a new all-time high. USO made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish cross and over the 17 EMA. UNG made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bearish trap and over the 17 EMA. U.S. dollar index still in a downtrend. We love that. Closed near the 97.34 area. SPY max pain for today. That's the SPY options. I have a put to call is 659 with a put to call ratio of about 1.8 puts for each call that expires today at 4:15. Remember those options expirations for today expire at 4:15 for index securities, or for index options. All right, and for security options, they expire at 4 p.m. All right, the main event this week is FOMC announcement at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. I think there's a lot of hope out there to get a 0.5 basis point rate cut. I don't know if we're going to get it. All right, it's getting kind of slim. We'll see. We're probably definitely going to get a 25-point basis cut. All right, so we'll see what happens. Should be a lot of activity on FOMC at 2 p.m. On Wednesday. All right, it'll be the main event. If you're watching this for the first time, all of these are in bullish uptrends over the 17 EMA. All of these over here underneath the bears are in bearish downtrends under the 17 EMA, okay? If it's got a little star next to it, it means it's punching out a launch pad to launch higher, okay? If it's got a little star next to it over here, it's punching out a platform from which to dip lower, all right? So these are in bear flags. These are in bull flags. Bear flags, bull flags, all right? So if you're watching those and how I trade them, 10-minute downtrend under VWAP for the bears, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP for the bulls, all right? That's how I trade them, from the bulls and the bears. Keep an eye on those, set an alert for the breakout, and then trade the 10-minute downtrend on the bear side, trade the 10-minute uptrend on the bullish side. That's how I trade those. Hey, good morning, Stu. Good morning, Fahad. All right, let's take a look at SPY. Let's pick up a clean chart. All right. Start the drawing tools if we can get them up. Maybe they'll operate for us today. We'll see. They're going to show up any minute. There they are. All right. There we go. All right. So let's look at, first we'll look at the 10-minute chart. Okay, so coming into the close yesterday, okay, I'm going to zoom over. Let me pan over here. Okay, so you can see we had two candle 10-minute uptrend. Okay, all in all, it was consolidation over to the right with a 2 candle uptrend over to the at the end of the day. Okay, so it's consolidation with a 2 candle uptrend. So I'm calling it a weak 2 candle because there's not many candles there. All right, 2 candles hardly makes a trend, and I'm on the 10-minute chart. Okay, 1 candle even worse. Okay, 1 candle uptrend's even worse than even a 2 candle. Okay, but a nice rip up there into the close at the end of the day. So bulls bought the volume, bought up the weakness at the end of the day. Price action I'd be looking for this morning is continuation of that 10-minute uptrend. I do see a possible pullback coming back to this, got to pan over, uptrend line right here. Okay, so I would think somewhere in here where support is and this uptrend line, I would hope to get a J hook out of there. No guarantees, okay, but I would look for a J hook to possibly manifest. Again, wait for the 10-minute uptrend. Right now you can see we're breaking down, coming into the gap right there. All right, if we start lingering down here too long, probably going to do a gap fill from yesterday and probably head back to this uptrend line right through here. All right, good morning, Hanley. Good morning, Brian, and good morning, Lenny. All right, so there's SPY on the 10-minute chart right here. Okay, on the 2-hour chart. Okay, you can see the 3 is up on top of the 8 EMA right here. 3 on top of the 8. That's a 2-hour uptrend. Okay, you guys know my favorite trade is the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that resides inside the 2-hour uptrend, that resides inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly, inside the monthly. Okay, so that's my favorite trade. Okay, because you got all the bigger time frames supporting my little 10-minute uptrend. That's my favorite trade right there, is that 10-minute uptrend. Now I could trade a 5-minute uptrend, 2-minute uptrend, 3-minute uptrend. Okay, but I like the 10. There's a reason I like the 10, because it lasts a little longer. All right, lasts a little longer, and I want to stay in there. Sometimes it goes a little further. Okay, whereas those 5-minute trends, 3-minute uptrends, 2-minute uptrends aren't going to carry you out as far throughout the day. You'll get a couple of them, but I like the 10-minute uptrend because it lasts a little longer. Okay, that's my reason for the 10-minute uptrend. Not opposed to trading a 2-minute, a 5-minute, or a 3-minute. Okay, I'm not opposed to trading those at all. Okay, but I do like the 10 better because it allows me to stay in that trade a little bit longer than it would on a 5, a 3, or a 2. Okay, so there's 2-hour uptrend. Let's take a look at SPY on the daily chart here. All right, you can see new all-time high set by SPY yesterday. I'm going to pan way out so you can see the performance of SPY over the last 3 months. Come on, slide over. All right. Okay, so here's SPY way up here. Okay, closing at the top of quadrant 4. All right. Still in an uptrend. Hasn't broken anything. Hasn't made any lower lows. So SPY still bullish. Still in an uptrend on SPY. Okay, still in an uptrend on the weekly chart. See all the green candle bars right there. Okay, all the green 17 EMA dots right there. Still bullish. Still in an uptrend. Monthly chart. See all the green 17 EMA. All right, still bullish. Still in an uptrend on the monthly chart. So in a month, on the monthly's in an uptrend, weekly's in an uptrend, daily's in an uptrend. See that? Daily in an uptrend. Okay, 2 hours in an uptrend. Just looking for that 10-minute uptrend to trade to the upside. So there's SPY. To trade this morning, let's take a look at the game plan. Let's take a look at the 10-minute game plan right here. Okay, so price above 660.90. Okay, that's a bullish entry. Well, we're already up there. Probably going to pull back to 660.90. Hopefully J hook off of 660.90. It may J hook off of the pivot. It may even J hook off of major support down here, intraday major support. See all the valleys right here that come right into 659.45. We'll see. So, but price underneath 659.45, I would look for price to start filling gap down here. All right. So that would be my bearish red erases green entry. Okay. But again, on the pivot above 660.20, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. That came out of nowhere. God bless me. All right. So again, green 660.90. We're already up over it, so it's kind of redundant because we're already up over 660.90 as a bullish entry. All right. I like. Let's pull this down. Drag this in to focus. For options, I like to trade options because it allows me to leverage my capital, all right? But I need a trend, okay? I need a trend. We're not very good at picking tops and bottoms here at BYOB, all right? But, all right, what we are good at is trading trends. We're very good at trading trends. We just simply find the trend and jump in it, all right? So I like 3 days till expiration Friday options, 10 days till expiration Friday options. We like the Friday options because they have more open interest on Fridays, okay? On the multiple of 5. So in other words, 655, 660, 665, 670, okay? The multiple of 5. Okay, we like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. We're not opposed to trading in the money, but, okay, keep in mind, when you trade in the money, you're going to get better performance, okay? But with that better performance, it costs you more. So if it costs you more, you're risking more, all right? So we like $2 to $15 out of the money. In other words, we'll sacrifice a little performance, all right, just to take on a little less risk, all right? So that's what I like. But I'm not opposed to trading in the money, 0 DTEs, okay? You can see my choice is 3 and 10 DTEs. I'm not opposed to trading in the money, 0 DTEs. I'm just saying that if you choose that, recognize that you're going to take on more risk. But with that higher risk, you will get better performance. Just make sure your trend is working, all right? So you don't lose on that trade. Again, look for the 3, either over the 8 or underneath the 8, and you want those 10-minute uptrends to be over VWAP, 10-minute downtrends to be under VWAP, all right? They work out much better when they're over VWAP and under VWAP, and they even work out even better when they're over VWAP and peeling away, another breaking away, up, and away from VWAP, and the 10-minute downtrends are breaking down, and away from VWAP, okay? So, again, I'm not opposed to trading 0 DTEs in the money, but, you know, I'm just saying they cost you more, and it's up to you if that you want. If you're just looking for performance and you're confident in your trading plan, that would be great, okay? But if you're just starting out and you're not confident about your trading plan, or you're not confident about your ability to manage a trade, all right, sometimes I think it's a little bit better just to start off with a little more time, all right? In other words, go out to 3 days till expiration or 10 days till expiration and take some out of the money strikes so you're not risking as much capital, okay? Especially if you have a hard time shutting down a bad trade, okay? You might as well start as close to 0 as you can, all right? That way you're not losing much, all right? Just saying. All right, so that's what I like, all right? Because I get a lot of new people in the room and I don't want them to lose their money, all right? Point is, right now, okay, if you're not making money in the BYOB Trading Room, let me just say this. I offer free 15-minute coaching, all right? All you got to do is just private chat me or just hook up with me on Teams, all right? I'd be glad to help you out. Let me know who you are. I get a lot of solicitation to my Teams account, so just let me know you're part of the BYOB Trading Room. All right, so there's the SPY game plan. Let's take a look. We also have a QQQ game plan as well. Let's take a peek at that, and here we are here, okay? Again, green erases red. Well, we're way up over that right now. That was 591.50. Probably look for price to J hook on the top of that. Pivot 589.70. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green. Underneath 588.10. Okay, so underneath 588.10, I would look for that to gap fill down to here. Okay, in other words, come test the breakup candle low. Okay, so there's the game plan. Again, on QQQ, I like 3 days till expiration and 10 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5. Again, 585, 590, 595. You get the picture. With strikes, $2 to $15 out of the money. I like 10-minute. Same thing. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. I especially like it when they're breaking away from VWAP, either to the upside on the uptrends or to the downside on the downtrends. All right, so looking for, this is QQQ game plan. Let's take a look at QQQ on the daily chart. Well, let's look at it on the 2 hour. All right, okay, you can see the 2 hour. This is the 3 EMA. See this yellow, thin yellow line? Okay, so that's a 2 hour uptrend coming into the close right there. Okay, 2 hour uptrend. Do we have a 10-minute? Okay, let's look over here. All right, we have a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. Little consolidation breakout. So I'm looking for, same as QQQ and SPY, a continuation of those 10-minute uptrends that originated yesterday. Okay, so I'll be looking for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend both in QQQ and SPY today. Okay, continuation. All right, like to see those continue to the upside, up over VWAP. We'll see what happens, but that's what I'll be looking for. This morning, I'll be marking off the lows and the highs of both QQQ and SPY. All right, and I will trade the breakout, all right, to low or the high, or trade the breakout of the first 15-minute box. Okay, so we'll take the price action for QQQ and SPY and box off the first 15 minutes and look for the breakout of that first 15-minute box and trade the breakout there. Okay, so there's QQQ and SPY. Looking like price probably will bull flag, bear flag over here to the right, and then eventually make its way down to gap fill and maybe hit the trend line, and then I'm looking for it to J hook out of there. All right, QQQ and SPY, same thing. Going to mark off the top and the low of the pre-market, post-market area. All right, and then box off the first 15 minutes. Trade the breakouts of either the pre-market, post-market zone or the first 15-minute zone. Again, I'm looking for price to pull back to the trend line and J hook out of there on both QQQ and SPY. Let's take a look at FNGU. We'll pull it up on the daily chart. All right, and we want to scratch. You can see here's FNGU. There's the low from April. Let's move this over. You can see. Let's drag this out. Okay, new all-time high, FNGU. Okay, let's pick it up here and click the daily chart so you can get. Okay, so there's FNGU. Already making a new all-time high this morning. So there's FNGU, new all-time high. Right there for FNGU. There's the April low. Okay, so that's bullish and in an uptrend. Let's look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow at the top of quadrant 4. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and still in an uptrend. Nothing's broken. Again, this is the trend. All right. All we need to see is green erase red to jump in. All right. So there's Diamond Dow. Bullish, still in an uptrend. IWM. Okay, IWM, another inside day yesterday. Okay, Friday was an inside day. Monday was an inside day. Okay, that's lower high, higher low, closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish over the rising 17. That's bullish up here in the middle of quadrant 4, right here, near the top. and still in an uptrend. Hasn't made any lower lows, so it's still in an uptrend. Notice the 3 EMA on top of the 8 EMA. Okay, 8 EMA is on top of the 17 EMA. Notice the 17 EMA, the dots are green. Notice the dots move from low up to high. Okay, see they're pointed up. All right, uptrend right there. Okay, on the daily chart, IWM. Okay, so it's a beautiful thing. Got low, getting higher lows, and of course we're making higher highs. So uptrend on the daily chart. All right, so we just did Diamond Dow, we did FNGU. Let's take a look at silver and gold. Start with gold. That's going to be an easy one. Gold making a new all-time high today. It's going to make a new all-time high today and yesterday. Okay, gold bullish and in an uptrend. New all-time high. Again, up here at the top of quadrant 4, that is bullish and in an uptrend. No lower lows yet. Okay, so bullish and in an uptrend. Silver. Okay, look at silver. This would be yesterday's performance. New 13-year high on silver. Okay, closing up at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, let me zoom out and move over. Okay, top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend up there. That's silver on the daily chart. Let's take a look at UNG. Okay, UNG. Here's the quad lines. We're at the bottom of quadrant 1. So that's bearish. We aren't making any higher highs. So we're in a downtrend. Notice all the red dots. Okay. So we're bearish and we're under, looks like 18-month anchored VWAP right there. All right. So it's bearish and in a downtrend right there. So this would be a pullback, even though it moves up. This is a pullback in a downtrend. You can have those, all right? But if it happens to make a higher high, okay, that'll negate the downtrend and start a new uptrend, okay? So on UNG, we got a little easy speed bump high right here. It's very possible that they could create a valley here and make a new higher high. Here's a high over the 17. That's going to be an easy one for UNG to take out. If they start this uptrend, the target is most likely going to be the bottom of this tail right here, okay? That would be the valley between the two peaks. If they start this uptrend, in other words, they make, here's a higher high to negate the downtrend, I would think the target's going to be the bottom of this tail right there, okay, for this uptrend, if they happen to manifest an uptrend. I can see them starting to hook or J-hook right here, all right? So we'll see what happens. But that would be my target. That would be the quick, easy target. If they happen to linger up there, all right, for more than 4 or 5 days, I would think they're going to break. They're going to probably come all the way up and try to attack the breakdown candle high, which is right here at 1575. We'll see. It's still early, all right? We haven't even got an uptrend going yet. We're still in a downtrend. So there's UNG on the daily chart. Let's take a look at USO. This is crude oil, okay? So price action, okay, you can see crude oil likes to or just not ready yet, okay? It moves up and it gives it up, okay? Then it moves up and then it gives it up. And look, it does it again. It moves up and then it gives it up, okay? But it's making lower highs, okay? So you see that? It just goes up, cannot hold the higher ground, okay? That's why I show you when I see price move up and over to the right, that is a very bullish price action when you see that, okay? That's what you want to hope to find. This, going up, giving it up, not what you want to find. You want to find this. This is much easier than trading this right here, going up and giving it up. Okay, so I like to find when price goes up and holds the higher ground. That's like a show of strength. That's like planking, all right, for like, I don't know, 6.5 hours, okay? Or doing a chin up for 6.5 hours, okay? That's a show of strength. Whenever you see price move up and hold the higher ground, okay, that's bullish. They're showing you they're ready to perform finally. This one not ready to perform. See, just can't hold the higher ground. So that is neutral, all right? So for price action, if it was up here in the upper third, okay, of the quad lines, that would be bullish, okay? If it was down here in the lower third, this would be bearish, okay? But it's meandering back and forth between the bullish and the bearish. So it's just neutral right through here, okay? It's kind of zigzagging, bouncing back and forth in between. Okay, so this is neutral, and it's in a downtrend because they made a lower low. So they're still in a downtrend. So there's USO, neutral, all right? Not bullish, not bearish, and still in a downtrend right now. The nice thing is it's up over this 3-year high anchored VWAP. Okay, if we want to pan out here, you can see the pink line. This is the post-COVID high of 2022. We're up over that. That's a good sign, but we still, in all of this time, have struggled to hold the higher ground up here. Okay, so it's just not ready yet. This is USO Petroleum. All right, let's take a look at technicals. T2122. Okay, so you can see we're losing more and more breath every single day. Okay, so we're getting weaker and weaker as far as participation goes. Okay, we'll pull this up on the 15. Okay, you can see again we're consolidating underneath prior consolidation. The breath is getting weaker and weaker. Let me just say this. When it gets weak like this, market makers, market specialists have free reign. They can make price action really whippy, really fast. All right, so be careful out there. Hence, that's the whole reason for my message to traders about we're probably going to get ready for a climactic move to the upside. All right, so be careful, be ready for it. The breath, see how participation's disappearing day by day, more and more right here on the breath, T2101, okay? Now I'm looking for price to get down, I'm looking for these candles to start manifesting down here in this area, and then I'd look for a possible reversal once they start to manifest down here. You can see in the past, okay, you can look in the past over here. You can see once they got down into here, they made a reversal. Okay, so I'm looking for price to come down into here. Okay, see how they had a reversal up there? Now down here. Okay, this is April right here. This is April 1st. Okay, see how price moves back up to the upside. All right, so looking for price right down here. All right, in there, and then I'll be looking for a reversal probably within about 7 days. T2101, that's 65 minute. All right, there's the market breadth. T2122, we spent the day in the buyer's chop zone. Okay, still bullish over the midpoint, but definitely not the buy zone, not the overbought zone. But get this, on T2123, they made a new all-time high. Okay, so they gapped up. They gapped up. And look at this. The bears failed to fill the gap. Okay, so anytime the bears fail to fill the gap, that's a bullish sign. Okay, anytime you see consolidation over prior consolidation, that's a bullish sign. So there's T2123, still bullish, still in an uptrend, over the rising 200 SMA. That's a bullish sign. So again, this market is bullish. All right, not time to short it yet. T2123. 3-bar chart, again, up over the 200 SMA, bullish, and in an uptrend. Back to the 15, again, like I said, new all-time highs. Okay? Doesn't get any better than that. All right? On FNGU. All right? FNGU made new all-time high yesterday. Look at it in the pre-market. Again, you got bullish, consolidation over prior consolidation. I would be looking for 10-minute uptrends, all right? FNGU on the 15-minute. This is bullish. See, it's up over the 200 SMA and in an uptrend. Okay, a little gap and go that happened yesterday. I said probably going to get the gap and go. Again, price gaps up, all right? Bullish gap up, and then we go, and then we consolidate into the end of the day, okay? So, again, now we've got consolidation over prior consolidation. This is a bullish outlook for today. Okay, so there's SFNGU. We watch FNGU. It's got 10 of the most heavily weighted securities inside QQQ and SPY. So we tend to watch it because when those 10 move as a pack, and it's just 10 securities, but they happen to be 10 of the most heavily weighted securities inside QQQ and SPY. And when those 10 move as a pack, they can drag those indexes up with them. All right, so watch them in whatever direction they choose to go when they start moving as a pack. So there's FNGU on the 15-minute chart. Let's take a look at the economic data for today. And we'll head back over here to the dollar. Dollar is in a bear flag downtrend. Okay, so get out the drawing tools. I'll just spell it out real quick. Okay, you can see price. Oh, come on. That moves down and over to the right. Okay. Okay, so that's our bear flag. See how price starts from, okay, up here, and then it moves over to the right. So that's a bear flag. All right. And we drill down here, trash that out, zoom in. Okay, this will be a candle. This is today's candle. So you can see right here we closed right about 97.34. Okay. Okay, when you got a weak dollar, what happens? Well, commodities start moving up in value, all right? And the reason they move up in value is because it's going to take more dollars, all right, to purchase the same asset, all right? So what happens is the dollar's weak, so when you got a weak dollar, it's going to cost you more dollars to buy gold, more dollars to buy silver. Hence, you're getting new all-time highs in gold. Hence, you're getting new 13-year highs in silver, okay? Hence, you're starting to see an uptrend in natural gas manifest. You can see it's starting to hook to the upside, okay? So watch those commodities, precious metals, especially energy, okay? You can see prices starting to hook to the upside in energy, okay? So this is the dollar. Dollar is in a downtrend. I'm just going to say the consumer in us, all right, we hate the weak dollar. Because why? Because it makes all the goods and services that we purchase more expensive, all right, because we got a weak dollar, all right? So we hate it, all right, because it's inflation, all right? A weak dollar means we're going to spend more of our hard-earned money to buy the same loaf of bread, the same dozen eggs, okay? It's going to cost us more because the dollar's weak, all right? And same thing with buying goods and services, all right? So we hate it. But as the investor, we love it because if that means that companies are getting more dollars for the same goods and services, then they're going to be taking in more revenue. More revenue usually transitions into more earnings. More earnings usually transitions into a higher price point or a higher multiple. And hence, that's why you see the market making new all-time highs, T2123 making new all-time highs. Okay, so there's the dollar. Max pain for today, all right, 659. That's for the SPY options that expired today with a put-to-call ratio of about 1.8 put for each call, okay? A little bit of a put squeeze, not much. Yesterday was better. Today's okay. All right, economic calendar. Again, the main event is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Today we got retail sales at 8:30, import-export prices 8:30, industrial production 9:15, business inventories at 10, housing market index at 10, and that's it. Tomorrow, MBA mortgage applications at 7, housing starts and permits 8:30, Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations at 10, petroleum report 10:30. That's normal for Wednesdays. 10:30 petroleum report. FOMC announcement. That's the main event tomorrow. Okay, 2 p.m. tomorrow, and then a little presser afterwards. That's a little statement by the chairman of the FOMC at 2:30. On Thursday, jobless claims 8:30, Philly Fed manufacturing index 8:30, leading indicators 10, gas report 10:30. Let's go off to earnings all this week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All of those days, okay? Nothing but familiar names, but nothing that's going to be market moving. All right, so nothing exciting to watch in the earnings. All right, so that's it. All right, traders, that's it. Month over month, plus 6%. A little bit of that because of the weak dollar. A little bit of that because of the tariffs, right? So, but that's good news, all right, for the investor, right, Jim? Jim shared with us retail year over year, 5%. So that's great news for the investor, but for the consumer, for all of us, probably means higher prices, all right? Sorry to report that, but that's the way it works, all right? But the good news is if you're an investor, you're going to make money. All right, so that's it for me for this morning, all right? I'll see you guys in about 40 minutes, and we'll kick this market off. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you.